Hello, hello, hello. It's always a pleasure to see you guys here on the MTD channel, and it's always a pleasure to bring really significant stories to you. And I'm with my buddy Brian today. He's the superintendent here at Pine Bush High School. Pine Bush High School is a one-of-a-kind facility, the only high school in the country that is Gene Haas certified for their students. And I'm not just talking 10 or 15 or 20, we're talking over 300, with 240 of them actually coming to summer school by their choice to continue learning. This is the power, this is the impression that these teachers are putting on the students to help them create success. And some of these students are actually going into really significant companies straight out of high school based on the education that they're getting here and walking around and going to a lot of other tech schools. This is actually a possibility of having more technology here than I've seen at some of the trade schools across the country as secondary schools. Now think about that for a moment, and now let's talk with Brian. He is a fairly new superintendent to this program, but he came here for a reason. He came here for a purpose. He sees a future here. He's inspired by what's going on. And just for fun, the principal, our buddy, Hop, has actually become Gene Haas certified himself and has challenged Brian to become Gene Haas certified as well, which is why we have these wonderful Haas machine training centers behind us. But let me not be too long-winded like I get sometimes. Brian, let's hear your story. Let's hear your inspiration. You're just a couple of months into this at Pine Bush. What brought you here?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk to you about all the great things going on in Pine Bush and Pine Bush High School. The number one thing that inspires me right here is, you have an example of innovative boots on the ground leadership in Aaron Hopmeyer and his team, who had a vision to do things differently. After a long period in American schools across the country, we sort of neglected our sort of primary purpose to, make kids ready for the workplace, and we stopped putting a lot of time, energy, blood, and treasure in that endeavor. But in Pine Bush, we saw that that was the wrong way years ago, and he led a team to course correct and to reach out to business partners, including Haas, and get state-of-the-art innovative technologies. And he built a program from the ground up that offers all kinds of skill development to all of our kids, during the school year and into the summer. So I'm just happy to be on board, and my role is to support continuing those programs, broadening them, making use of all of our federal monies to help augment those programs as best we can, and to encourage more women to enter the field, encourage more different groups of people to take a look at manufacturing and skilled labor.
I like that you said that, because that was actually going to be my follow-up question.
Yeah.
Is, as a superintendent, where do you think your responsibilities lie? And you've kind of already mentioned that with,
Right.
Bringing in the funding to continue this, helping, different groups of people get in. Women in manufacturing is a massive push right now as well. So kind of going back to that little aspect of what's going on, because Brian, you don't actually come from a manufacturing background, but talking with you and learning from you, you have a passion for it, and you see the significance that it brings the U.S. economy.
Well, I take an oath to the Constitution, and being a superintendent of schools, my primary role is to address the needs of our great country and our society. And I'm a private citizen also, and I've experienced, the difficulty of finding a highly qualified carpenter or mason. And so that's hit me personally in my life, but also it's a huge responsibility for help kids reach their potential and find a pathway for a long-term, career that not only contributes to society, but also gives them meaning and purpose. And I think if we achieve those two things in Pine Bush, as we are, and we continue to do it, we're going to inspire other schools to follow suit and to work together and collaborate to get out of this hole we're in this country, and sort of revalue work and work ethic and skilled labor. And if we do that together, I think we're going to see good things in the future.
I want to look at the camera and talk to you guys for just a minute. I have Brian right here as we're discussing manufacturing. We don't want to also overlook all the graduates and the significant programs they have here at Pine Bush, because what Brian's talking about is all inclusive of everyone who's graduated, whether they're going to university or whether they're pursuing the trades of some sort. But because we are a manufacturing news channel, and because we are focused on that, we are highlighting that today. But don't let that be something to say, well, what about the other programs? No, this is a program that has been forgotten, so we want to highlight that. We want to amplify that. We want to give it a voice. Brian coming in and being a part of this and sharing this story is just another added additive to that. But overall, you really care about this school system. You really care about this community. You mentioned at the beginning, I want to talk about Pine Bush Community and Pine Bush High School.
Let's talk about the Pine Bush Board of Education. Let's not forget, they have been supported from day one for these innovative programs, which were against the grain. Remember, there's a lot of accountability pressure on schools to produce, college readiness. So they were pivotal in this development. One of the things that attracted me to this job is not only this innovative program, the leadership here, but also the pride this community authentically has in their schools. And they have very high expectations that all the graduates are career ready as much as they are college ready. So that, for a superintendent to be a part of that is very special. And I'm so fired up to be here.
Brian, if I'm going to give you an honest moment to the people watching, I was a terrible student. I had struggles in high school. I had struggles at university as well. And nobody taught me about being ready for life, being ready for a career. And I wish that I would have had someone like you in my life as a younger man, that maybe my journey for the last 25 years could have been eased a little bit instead of taking this really rocky road of misunderstanding.
Well, thank you for saying that. I too struggled in schools, and I find some of our best teachers conquered their struggles, and they understand a student's inability to connect with the curriculum. But here in Pine Bush, beginning with our school counseling department, we're talking about multiple pathways for kids that they're interested in. And then in terms of our pedagogy here, project-based learning. So you're just not learning from a textbook. You're doing things together, working on machines, working on innovative, not innovative, but you're working with kids you normally may not hang with on problems, on projects. So I just think it's a more attractive educational program than, let's say, 25 years ago. There's so many more options, pathways, and things to offer that kids are interested in.
Brian, on behalf of MTD, on behalf of myself, thank you for allowing us to come in and film, and thank you for everything that you're doing. We need more people like you out there. For everyone who's watching, if you would like to implement this at your school, give these guys a call. Give them a shout. It's not that hard to find. They'll be happy to speak with you. There are some obstacles that you have to overcome in order to implement these things because, as Brian kind of touched on, universities have been pushed and pushed and pushed, and that's where most of the kids have gone, except trades can offer a really significant career. So reach out. Ask them how they did it. Let's create a ripple. Let's toss that little rock into the pond and create that ripple we need to expand manufacturing a bit more.
Right on. We are here and at your service.